So we'll be picking up with the story of the Iliad again today. This is a continuation of the series on the rise and fall of classical civilization. We'll start by talking about Hector. So Hector was the greatest of the warriors on the side of Troy. And here's his conversation with his wife in Book 6 of the Iliad. She says, "Reckless one, my Hector, your own fiery courage will destroy you. Have you no pity for him, our helpless son, or me, and the destiny that weighs me down, your widow, now so soon? Yes, soon. They will kill you off. All this weighs upon my mind too, dear woman. But I would die of shame to face the men of Troy and the Trojan women trailing their long robes if I would shirk from battle now, a coward." Andromache is not telling him not to fight, but to stay back. Stay back behind the walls and just protect. Don't go forward and fight. But he's saying that would be dishonoring to him, and honor was the most important thing to these people in the story. "Andromache, dear one, why so desperate? Why so much grief for me? No man will hurl me down to death against my fate. And fate, no man alive has ever escaped it. Neither brave man nor coward, I tell you. It's born with us the day we are born. Fate is inescapable. Fate is this great force that even the gods can't stand above. The fates determine everything that happens. There's no resisting fate. Even a great man like Hector, even a great man like Achilles, can't resist the force of fate. For in my heart and soul I know this well. The day will come when sacred Troy must die. Priam must die, and his people with him." Priam was Hector's father. He's saying it's destined. My father will die. Troy will come to an end, which means that's going to happen soon. His father's old, and he says the worst thing about it to him is not the loss of his great city and his kingdom, but it's his wife. The fact that his wife is going to be taken off as a prize and made to work as a slave in Greece among the soldiers who have defeated them. But then we also have this. In Book 22 of the Iliad, when Hector is killed, Father Zeus raised his golden scales, setting there two fatal lots for death's long sorrow, one for Achilles, one for horse-taming Hector. Seizing it in the middle, Zeus raised his balance. Hector's fatal day sank, moving down to Hades. Here we have talk of fate, but the fates in this context seem to be controlled by Zeus. Zeus is the one who will determine. So forget fates. What really matters is Zeus and his master planning. Zeus is some sort of a mastermind, a genius, who can see everything and determine how everything's going to work out, and he has a plan. Everything is moving towards his plan, as spoken of in the very beginning of Book 1 of the Iliad. Well, sort of. Zeus sort of has a plan, but then again, he can be tricked by Hera, his wife, who gets him to lay with her and then has him put to sleep by the god Sleep, who has this special potion that makes Zeus fall into a deep sleep, and while he's asleep, Hera can turn the tide of the war to make it so that the Greeks are winning again. The Greeks have been losing for a while because Achilles had prayed that the Greeks would lose so that he would get more glory, more honor, and Zeus has listened to that prayer, but now Hera is able to turn things the other way. So, is Zeus really in charge? Well, it kind of seems not so much, and maybe really Hera is in charge. Maybe she's the one driving things, because she has been offended. She was offended by Paris. Paris was asked who is the fairest among the goddesses. Well, he didn't actually choose any of the goddesses. Hera thought clearly she would be chosen, but instead what he chose is the person who offered him the prize of the woman he believed was the most beautiful, which was Helen. And Helen then is, in a sense, the cause of this whole war, because Paris is going to take Helen, take her off to Troy, and that is why the Greeks have gone to war. So this is a famous story, a well-known story about why the war started. It's because Hera is so angry. She's angry about not being chosen as the most beautiful. And so she takes the side of the Greeks. And if this is true, then it would seem it's not the great men like Hector and Achilles who are in charge of what's going to happen. They're not the driving force of history. It's not Zeus. It's not fate. It's perhaps just these goddesses who get angry. Their will is what? Revenge. They just want revenge. Vengeance will be mine. So what is the real driving force of history? There doesn't seem to be one. There doesn't seem to be any ultimate meaning here. All we have really is just death. We have time ticking away, candles burning out, and we have dead bodies, skulls. This is where all of us will end up. And what ultimately is the point? Is there a point? Is there some sort of meaning to all of this? From the story, it seems there isn't. It doesn't even seem that there's a clear driving force of history. No one's even planning it. If there's a point, some sort of purpose, somebody must be planning that out. Somebody must have some sort of design, some sort of goal. Otherwise, history just seems to be, as sometimes people say, it's just one thing after another without any real sort of goal. So the Iliad is lacking in meaning, and this is one of the things in the Age of Reason that the Greeks are going to have to try to go further, try to show that there is a deeper meaning to the world. In our next video, we'll be beginning to talk about the Odyssey, and we'll spend a couple videos talking about that, which is also written by Homer, another classic, and we get some of the same ideas, and we'll get deeper into the idea about purpose, and even into the purpose of life itself, and the lasting meaning that we'll have in the afterlife, which will be a topic that comes up in that book. Thank you.